We're now going to have a look at how to make the beta head part of the prototype. The exam board have said that you're only allowed to make your prototype from metals or plastics, so we've purchased for you an acrylic rod which has a diameter of 40mm. You'll notice that I've used some bench vices to clamp this, and I've used a couple of cloths, basically because acrylic is quite a soft material, so it's prone to scratches. We're going to use a combination square as before, and if you look back on your task 1, you should find the effective length or height of the beta head, not the diameter, the length or the height of it. So use your measurement, not mine, and then we can mark this on. And because I don't want to really scratch the surface, and the fact the pencil won't really stick to this, I'm going to put a little piece of masking tape onto the acrylic so that I can mark this with a pen or pencil. This is a cutting guide that I'm going to use, and this is actually designed for cutting bike frames which are also cylindrical. The blade is designed to go through this little gap here, so our next job is to carefully line up this gap with our mark. Okay, I'm going to gently tighten this. As I tighten it, it tends to wiggle around a little bit, so you might need to readjust. When you tighten this, you may find that once it's snug, you have a problem in that basically you cannot fit the blade through here because of the handle. So you can always use a 3mm Allen key to remove this handle. Please be very careful not to lose this piece. We're now going to cut through the acrylic, and to do that we're going to use a saw that looks something like this. So this is much bigger than a hacksaw. It's still got relatively small teeth, and they're quite close together, so 15 teeth per inch, and this is exactly what you need for a material like acrylic. Even though these teeth are quite small, they're still incredibly sharp, so please keep your fingers away from the blade. It'll happily rip through your skin if your hand or fingers are in the wrong place. Carefully put the saw blade into the guide, being careful of the teeth just on this outer edge, because the teeth can be quite fragile. You'll need a couple of small strokes just to get you started. And you don't want to go too fast, because otherwise the acrylic can melt and that will gum up the blade and cause you problems. So nice and gently, let those teeth do the work. Now, if you start to smell the material, it probably means that it's starting to heat up a little bit. So you may need to take a little break, let the blade cool down a bit before you continue. Again, I'm starting to smell the acrylic a little bit, so I'm going to slow down, let the blades cool a little bit, and then continue. As we get towards the very end, tiny little strokes. Again, a mirror image of how we started. When you put the saw down, just make sure that it's not close to the edge of the desk so that it can't fall onto the floor, damaging either your toes or the blades.